Oh shit, here we go again with the doom and gloom news cycle trying to hijack your peace of mind. I was literally just sitting here scrolling through a major news site with my morning coffee, and I ran across this absolute train wreck of an article. The title was literally the stark reality of what a $1.5 million retirement looks like in 2026. I mean, you see a title like that and your heart kind of skips a beat, right? Because if $1.5 million is tea enough to survive, what chance do the rest of us actually have? I went into this article thinking there is absolutely no way this logic is going to hold up under a real microscopic look, and man, was I right, because it's honestly one of the most poorly framed and executed pieces of financial advice I've seen in years. It falls right into that classic trap of telling people that even if you save a massive pile of cash, you are still basically one bad month away from total disaster. Look, I am Aaron, and I am telling you right now, we need to take this article out back and bury it because the math is just plain wrong. The part that really made me lose my mind was when they started talking about the tax situation. They said if you take a standard 4% withdrawal from a $1.5 million portfolio, that gives you $60,000 a year to live on. Okay, 4% is a safe standard assumption, so I'm vibing with them so far. But then they hit you with this crazy number saying that after federal taxes, you only left with $46,800. I had to stop reading right there because that was the exact moment I realized this author has no idea how 2026 taxes actually work. We need to walk through this because if you believe their math, you are going to be living in unnecessary fear for the next 10 years. Let us tackle the tax math first because it's the biggest lie in the whole story. Yes, if your money is in a traditional 401k or a traditional IRA, the government treats your withdrawals like a regular paycheck. And yes, looking at the 2026 tax brackets, $60,000 puts you in that 22% zone. But here's where the article falls apart and starts acting like a high schooler who failed basic algebra. It assumes you pay 22% on every single dollar of that $60,000, which is just not how our system works. We have a progressive tax system, which means your first dollars are basically free, and only the stuff at the very top gets hit with the higher rates. Plus, by the time we hit 2026, we have these massive deductions for seniors that the article completely ignored. When you reach 65 or older, you get three distinct layers of protection for your money. First, you've got the base standard deduction, which for singles is $16,100, and for married couples is $32,200. Then you've got the age-based add-on, which is another $2,050 for singles, and then there's the big one, the new OBA senior bonus deduction, which gives you an extra $6,000 per person. If you add all that up, a single retiree in 2026 gets to shield over $24,000 of their income before the IRS even touches a penny. For a married couple, that shield is almost $48,000 of pure tax-free spending power. So when the article says you only keep $46,000 out of your $60,000, they are off by nearly 12 grand. That is a massive difference. That is the difference between a luxury vacation and staying home to watch reruns of the news. This truly matters because when you being told you keep less, you start making fearful decisions about your life and your investments. And this is all before we even talk about Social Security, which is the big elephant in the room that this article just pretended didn't exist. It's like they wanted to paint the most depressing picture possible just to get those clicks. If you add in Social Security, your income goes up, but your tax rate doesn't necessarily skyrocket because Social Security is taxed differently. Only a portion of your benefit becomes taxable based on your total income. And for most people, the effective tax rate stays incredibly low. I ran the numbers for a couple making over $100,000 in total retirement income, and their tax bill was less than $6,000. That's an effective tax rate of about 5.4%, which is way better than the 22% horror story the news is pushing. This is exactly why I tell you guys to ignore the mainstream headlines and look at the actual data. Now, let's talk about that 4% withdrawal rate because the article suggests you should try to drive it down to 3%. They say you should work a part-time job just to avoid touching your portfolio too much. Look, if you want to work a little bit because it keeps you busy and gives you a reason to get out of the house, I am all for it. But doing it because you scared your 4% rate is going to bankrupt you is just not supported by the facts. Modern research, including Monte Carlo simulations, shows that a 3.7 to 4% rate is incredibly safe for a 30-year retirement. And that assumes you are a total robot who never adjusts your spending even when the market is crashing. If you have even an ounce of flexibility, you can actually pull 5% or more and still be totally fine. On a $1.5 million portfolio, that extra 1% is an additional $15,000 a year in your pocket. The problem is these articles want to frame $1.5 million as if it is a fragile, tiny amount of money. But in reality, it's a powerful engine that can support a very comfortable lifestyle if you know how to manage it. Let us look at a stress test scenario, like retiring early at 55, even if you have to bridge the gap for 7 years before Social Security kicks in. That $1.5 million is a beast. You can take out $70,000 a year, and once Social Security starts, your withdrawal rate drops so low that your money is virtually guaranteed to outlive you. So why is the media so obsessed with telling us we don't have enough? Because fear sells, fear keeps you glued to the screen, and fear keeps you working that job you hate for another 5 years. But when you look at the 2026 tax codes and the actual historical market data, the fear starts to melt away. You start to realize that you actually have a shield, you have a plan, and you have a massive advantage over everyone else who is just reading the headlines. The world might feel like a mess right now with inflation and wars and AI changing everything. But your numbers don't lie. If you got that stack and you re-smart about Roth conversions to keep the IRS out of your pockets later, you are winning. You don't need to be a billionaire to have a high-quality life. You just need to understand the mechanics of how your money actually moves. Wall Street wants to keep you in the dark because a confused investor is a profitable one for them. But we not doing that here. We re-looking at the raw math and we retaking back control. So if you see one of those stark reality articles, just laugh, close the tab, and go back to living your life. You've done the work, you've saved the money, and you deserve to enjoy the fruits of that labor without being terrified by bad math. Keep your head up, stay diversified, and remember that your time is the most valuable thing you own. Think about the psychological impact of being told your life. S-work is basically a drop in the bucket. I see it in the comments all the time. People who have hit that $1 million mark and they still feel broke. That is a direct result of this kind of financial gaslighting. If you have $1.5 million, you are in the top tier of savers globally, and you should act like it. You should be planning for trips, for hobbies, for family, not for how to stretch a nickel into a dime. I want you to imagine waking up on your first day of retirement and knowing that even if the market dips, your math is solid. You know exactly how the 2026 tax brackets are going to treat you. You know exactly how that OBA senior deduction is going to save you thousands. That knowledge is your armor. It is the shield that keeps the stress at bay. Don't let some journalist who probably doesn't have a 401k tell you how to feel about your savings. We are entering a new era of personal finance where the old rules are shifting, but the new rules actually favor the informed. Be the informed one in the room. Be the person who knows that $1.5 million is a mountain, not a molehill. Ivy spent thousands of hours looking at these charts and spreadsheets, and the conclusion is always the same. Flexibility and data beat fear every single time. If the SP 500 is concentrated in tech, we adjust. If taxes change, we optimize, but we never ever retreat back into a place of scarcity. You have the tools right here, and you have the community to back you up. I am going to keep calling out these articles because someone has to tell the truth. Someone has to show you the actual math that leads to freedom. You are closer than you think, and your money is stronger than they want you to believe. Let's keep building that bridge to a life where you don't have to check your bank account every 5 minutes. A life where you are the master of your capital, not the slave to it. I believe in you, I believe in your plan, and I believe in the power of a well-managed portfolio. Go out there and make it happen, and don't let the noise get in the way of your peace. You've got this, and I've got your back. It is time to stop surviving and start thriving in the world we're rebuilding. The future belongs to the ones who see the numbers for what they really are. So take a deep breath, look at your balance, and know that you are doing just fine. Actually, you are doing better than fine. You are doing great. Now go enjoy your day and let the haters keep writing their little articles. We LLB over here. Living the dream. Stay hungry, stay smart, and stay focused on the long game. Every dollar you have is a soldier working for your freedom, so treat them well. The road ahead is bright if you keep the right perspective. And remember, the best investment you can ever make is in your own education. Peace.